What did you like about that then?
I don't know. It was fairly rare. I think it's a great looking car. It's Pininfarina.
Yeah, lovely thing.
Yeah, and of course it was a disaster with the sort of the engine and the power steering problem, running the crankshaft off it. But,
Who rebuilt that? Nathan, I guess.
No, I never had a problem with it. I drove it and then
I was just a boy then.
You've had some exotics, haven't you, eh? You really have. You've had some lovely stuff.
Yeah, I think I've got a Maserati Quattrapult at the moment, Quattrapult 4.
Nice.
Which Nathan is going to fix and has been going to fix for the last 2 years.
Well, it keeps putting customers' cars in the way, I guess.
And I've got a 911, which Nathan is going to fix at some stage.
Well, here's one for you then. You've got a lot of motor cars. You've had a lot of motor cars. But, right, I'm going to give you unlimited funds now in this sort of desert island situation. But you can only buy one car. Which car would be on your driveway next week?
Another SM.
Really? What about you, Nathan?
I've got it. I've got my Trans Am, which I've had since I was 21.
That's 3 years then.
Yeah, 3. Yeah. I've had that a long, long time before all my children came along. And I would have that car again.
Love it.
So I've got it. It's the car I wanted since I was a child, from Smoking the Bandit.
Yeah.
I got into position I was able to buy one, and I've kept it forever, and I eventually will pass it on to my eldest.
Oh, wonderful. That makes me happy to hear. What about the worst car, the one you were glad to say goodbye to?
I think it might have been my Ford Escort Estate.
Which model?
Mark... must have been a Mark II. I had it donkeys years ago. The kids were small. And it
Why? Why didn't you like it?
Well, I don't know. It just did everything, but, perfectly.
Yeah, poor old Ford. Yeah. What did they do wrong?
Oh, that's right. And then...
Just too good.
Well, it's fairly boring. I do like a car that...
Yeah.
You're in a car.
I kind of guessed that talking to you.
Yes.
Yeah. How did I know that?
But then, families and things that's what you have to do, isn't it?
Yeah, of course you do. And is there one that you think of from time to time when you think, I should never have let that one get away?
No, I don't think so. I would have kept, had I been able to afford it, I would have kept the Lancia, because I did like that.
What about you, Nathan? Anything?
I had a 1993 Nissan Skyline R33. It was just a GTS, but I had to sell it because another family comes along, another child came along, and it's no good as a family car. But I miss that car. I do miss that car every day.
Do you?
Yeah, I wish I still had it.
Yeah. One final question. I love to hear about people's favourite driving roads, either in the UK or out of this country. Have you got a favourite stretch of road that you may not want any of us to know because you may say, I don't want to share it?
No, I don't think I have, actually. I think I've got a favourite route in mind, which is the Northern 500.
The what?
The Northern 500, is it? The Scottish.
Yeah, Northern 500.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which I'd like, because I've been to Scotland a few times, but never in the SM, which is a shame, because the roads there with, no cameras, no cars, no police, and you can see them for miles.
Right.
And the SM loves those curves.
That would be lovely.
And it would be magnificent. Yeah. And, of course, wonderful scenery and so on and so forth. So that would be, I'm sure, if ever I could get the car up there, my favourite road of all time.
Oh, that's fantastic. Lovely stuff from both of you. Roger, Nathan, thank you so much for coming in and joining us today.
It's been our pleasure.
And now it's time for a break.
'Cause I love baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. They go together in the good old USA. Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet.
Classic Car Talk is brought to you in part by Paragon Classics, specialists in classic American, Citroen SM and Jaguar. Find them on Facebook at Paragon MOT and Service Centre or call 01536 710 722. That's 01536 710 722. You're listening to Classic Car Talk with Paul and Richard.
Welcome back. What's next, Paul?
Well, it's our back-to-back feature, Rich.
Oh, yes, that's where we play some old Amy Winehouse tracks.
No, you're thinking of Back to Black.
Oh, of course. So, do I get to choose this week's duo for the classic shootout?
Yeah, go on then, I'll be generous.
Excellent, because I thought we'd kick things off with a couple of sports cars from the same company. Well, sort of.
Okay, now I'm curious.
Well, we all know what a great car the original Jaguar E-Type was, or the XKE as it's known in the States. But let's not forget that when it was launched in 1961, it wasn't the only roadster being built by Jaguar.
Ah, that's very true. You're referring, of course, to the Daimler SP250, the Dart, as it was originally called.
Good knowledge. I thought I'd catch you out
there. You can try. But, of course, the SP250, yeah, originally known as the Dart, but that really annoyed Chrysler because, of course, they already had the Dodge Dart at the time.
Yeah, SP250, it doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it?
Well, maybe not, but it's preferable to a lawsuit. But anyway.
That's true.
And when it launched in 1959, of course, let's not forget, the SP250, it had no connection with Jaguar. But then when Jaguar... Well, you see, Jaguar didn't acquire Daimler until 1960.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was originally owned by BSA, the motorcycle manufacturer.
No.
Jaguar purchased Daimler in 1960, and, of course, the SP250 came along with it.
Oh, that anorak pays off.
Oh, there we go.
Top knowledge,
It's
mate.
well worn, my anorak.
Top knowledge.
Of course, the thing is, it meant a bit of in-house competition for the forthcoming E-Type.
Yeah, well, true enough. Although, let's face it, the Jaguar was always going to have a head start. I mean, amazing looks, that super long bonnet, the sleek profile. From the very first day, it was hailed as the best-looking sports car of its time, wasn't it?
Well, true, and I'll be the first to admit the SP250 was apparently voted the ugliest car at the 1959 New York Motor Show.
Oh,
It's terrible, isn't it? But I'll be honest, Rich, the Daimler has really grown on me over the years. I mean, I drove one recently, and it was wonderful in so many ways. And as you know, I do love supporting a classic underdog.
well, I'm glad about that, because I've got no problem championing the E-Type.
Well, obviously, I mean, you do own two of them after all.
I think I do, yeah.
Yeah.
But that aside, the E-Type was a sensation when it appeared in 1961. I remember I was not old enough to remember in person, but
Sure?
I was alive, actually. And, all the Beatles, all the movie stars, the pop stars, they all wanted it. And top speed of about 150 miles an hour. Amazing acceleration, still quick for today, for heaven's sake. Great road manners. It had got the lot. Launched in glamorous Geneva at the 61 Motor Show, and it made headlines, not just in the UK, around the world.
And rightly so. I agree, it was a sensation. And although it was about £500 dearer than the SP250 when it launched, the E-Type at just shy of £2,000, well, it was by far the fastest sports car for the money. It really was sensational value. But, Rich, there was one thing it lacked.
Go on.
Well, obviously a V8.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the classic XK engine. Of course I'm not. It's the most successful Jaguar power plant of all, I believe. I am a big fan. But the SP250, it had that brilliant 2.5-litre V8 designed by that engineering wizard, Edward Turner. And, well, we all know how everyone loves a V8.
Well, we all love a V8, but we also love power. And wasn't the Daimler a little bit lacking in that department, a bit underpowered compared certainly to the original 3.8-litre E-Type?
Well, you say that. On paper, yes. I mean, the SP250's 140 brake horsepower. Well, it was way behind the 265 brake that the E-Type put out.
Yeah, I don't know about on paper.
Well, yeah.
In reality, the E-Type was obviously the quickest of the two.
And I'll admit, by some margin. I mean, the Daimler managed, I think, about 120 miles an hour to the E-Type's 150. And it took about 9 seconds to hit 60 miles an hour, a couple of seconds slower than the E-Type. But I'll be honest, Rich, out on the road, it doesn't feel as all underpowered.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. I'll give you that. I mean, 120 miles an hour, it's not hanging around, is it? But I think didn't the SP250 also have various other problems when it was launched, apart from its looks, I mean?
Well, you keep coming back to the looks, don't you? But yeah, there were issues. I mean, the earliest cars, they suffered from quite severe chassis flex, and obviously that affected how they handled.
Yeah, I remember my father saying that the doors used to fly open on some tight corners due to the flex, but maybe that was down to how Dad drove it.
Could well be. But I'll be honest, Jaguar did address those issues. They sorted the chassis, and they relaunched the Daimler in what they called B-spec guise, and it was genuinely pretty much transformed.
Yeah, transformed, and still it didn't sell.
Well, yes.
Paul, you're forgetting just how ugly it was. And I'm not sure that the passing of time has helped it one bit.
Well, OK, the SP250, yes, its appearance was always very divisive, I'll admit. There was a time when even I struggled to appreciate it, but now, well, I reckon it has a certain presence. It really knows how to stand out in a crowd.
Oh, yeah, it stands out, just like the E-Type, but at least the Jaguar stands out for the right reasons. It's a stunner.
Well, OK, yeah, I can't argue with that. But it's not exactly a rare sight at events these days, is it, the E-Type? I mean, Jaguar built more than 72,000 over 3 different generations, and we're not exactly short of survivors, are we?
How many SP250s were built then?
Well, here comes my anarch again, because I know the exact number, Richard. Round about, or should I say almost exactly, 2,650. OK, the original plan was to sell 3,000 a year.
A year?
But that didn't exactly work out, did it? And by 1964, Jaguar pulled the plug on the SP250 altogether. That does mean, though, that it's not a car you see at every classic car show these days. And for me, that rarity appeal adds to the Daimler's appeal.
Yeah, you don't see them, or maybe don't want to. I hear what I hear what you're saying, Paul. But let's not forget that even when the SP250 was dropped, the E-Type, that was still in Series 1 guise.
It was.
And that's not exactly the most common classic these days. So basically, I would put it to you that an E-Type of similar age also has rarity appeal.
And it also has a very hefty price tag.
Yeah, well, it's always worth paying for quality, my friend.
Well, yeah, I agree with that, but you can't deny that the SP250 does offer real value for money compared with a Series 1 E-Type, particularly if we're talking about the really early Series 1s with that original flat floor design. I mean, you can pay £250,000 for one of those these days.
Yeah, I'm not going to be persuaded out of the E-Type just because the Daimler's cheaper.
No, and neither would I expect you to be, but let's remember that less than £40,000 will now get you a very impressive SP250, one that's really well presented, nicely restored. And for that, you get a glorious V8, you get glass fibre bodywork that won't rot, and you get a car that's an absolute pleasure to drive.
Yeah, but not as quick as an E-Type.
No, true. But as I said earlier, the Daimler doesn't feel slow, and it handles well too. OK, the E-Type will always be the ultimate choice for many fans.
Yes, I'm glad you agree.
But let's not dismiss the dear old Daimler. OK, it's quirky looking, but then who isn't?
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, I find it a charming old friend.
Yeah, speak for yourself again.
Look, it's charming, and it's also great value compared with that Series 1. So it's the one that I would almost certainly spend my own money on.
Well, Paul, we're going to have to agree to disagree, because I have spent my own money on E-Types in the past, and that's how I know that it's the best choice here. Superb looks, astonishing performance, and the ability to thrill and terrify in equal measure. Much like myself, that's probably where we get on. It's the car that, well, Jaguar engineer, the great Norman Jewis, he drove it, he perfected it. And it's the most famous Jaguar of all time. So it's obviously the top choice here.
Well, on paper, yes, I agree. It's quicker, it's more powerful than the Daimler, and its driving style, well, it has that rawness by comparison. Although maybe that's me getting old.
I didn't like to say. But, you know, your hair's not grey, Paul. I prefer the term you're going a bit chrome.
OK, I'm going to ignore that. But look, these days, I can really see the appeal of a classic British roadster with a proper V8 engine, loads of torque, a slightly lazier driving style than that E-Type of yours. A car that's just as good at pottering around as it is being driven with, with gusto.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely fair. It's just a shame that the Daimler has the kind of looks that only a mother could love.
Well, a mother and me. Anyway, I can see we're not going to agree here. So, Rich, let's just end by saying that both cars deserve their place in British motoring history.
Absolutely, with the E-Type firmly on the top. Right, time for a break.
Classic Car Shootout is brought to you by David Manners Group, classic and modern Jaguar and Daimler parts specialists. For more details, visit davidmanners.co.uk.